All right, I'm on hole number 5 of the Redwood Cup tournament. I'm in Monday's practice round, qualifying round. I haven't decided yet. I'm just out playing. I'm not going to qualify my odd account. I'm just going to go out there and hit everything with a Titan because that's the best thing I've got in that account. So I'm going to practice in it for sure until Wednesday. But right now I'm just out playing these holes, and I've had as much as I spent out there trying to practice them, I really got limited opportunities on these. This hole right here, I've been on this hole like 5 times, and 5 times in a row I've hit a good to the right. Now let's talk about I'm not interested in doing anything on this hole that doesn't try and get me on in one. Now, whether I can get on a one or if I'm just out here, and it doesn't matter really if you've got an extra mile. If you've got an extra mile 6, 7, 8, whatever, you can do this. I think if you've got an extra mile 6 or a 7, here's one tree, here's another tree. There is a lane that you can go through these trees, and you've got such limited curl on a 6 that you'll be fine. Like if you aim more towards the edge of this tree and you put on a little bit of curl, you're going to be fine to go right through the center here. If you've got an upper developed club and you really want to try and get up on the green, if you aim dead center right at the middle of that, like if you've got an extra mile 8 or an extra mile 9, and you aim dead center towards this tree, curl's not representing your ball guide. So you're hitting from this tee right here and you're going off in this direction. And what you're trying to do is get your ball to go like this. And so you're using that curl. So you're trying to build this gap with your curl. If you've got a lower developed one, I think hitting between the trees is definitely the way to do it. But you could find yourself in a spot of bother hitting between the trees if you put on too much curl because you're going to clip this tree. So if you got to watch your trajectory, but hitting between the trees is definitely a possibility. I don't think that the hitting over here, because when you're hitting over here where your red line's at, if you draw your red line in here, where your red line is, if your forward moving trajectory, you've got to get your first bounce here and you've got to get your second bounce to clear this rough peninsula. And so you might have a little bit of problems, and you're going to have to watch your trajectory. So straight trajectories here, and you're trying to bring your ball with some curl here, but you need to get that little S curve at the end. So you're trying to build in an S in your shot, and it may be problematic trying to hit from over here to try and get up. It's not that you couldn't do it, but I think it's going to be a tougher shot to set up than either hitting between the trees with a little bit of curl and trying to bring it around, or aiming towards this tree and trying to clear the trees completely and trying to come around. I'm going to be trying to clear this tree and trying to come out this way. But I think most of you are probably going to be hitting between these trees with very little curl. And it'll just be like the thing about hitting around the tree is it's going to be a setup shot. I'm going to have to actually hit perfect a time or two so that I can find out where I need to be so that when I put max curl on, and it's a setup shot. So like I'm going to point right dead center in the tree and then put max curl on, or I'm going to be on the outside of the tree and put max curl on so that my trajectory leads me through the center. And I don't know where that is yet because every single time I've been on this hole, I've caught a good to the right, which is not good. It's not good, Yaman. Now you could probably bring a power 5 ball here, and I may not have to use any overpower at all. So this might be a hole to bring a power 5 ball. And I've got 6 berserkers, so I'm going to use a berserker right here. I was practicing this with a Titan, and it looks like the Titan, as far as side spin, was right at 2 side spin to put me on track, aiming at the tree, max curl. So maybe that berserker will match up nicely, and maybe I won't have to do max overpower. What I'd really like to do here is just try it out without any overpower, see if I can catch perfect, and see what my distance is. Because if we don't have to use any overpower, that is awesome. And somebody drank all my coffee. So as soon as I get done with this hole, I'm gonna have to remedy that. Jonathan goes first. So you can weave those trees aiming towards the edge of this tree so that you can put a little bit of curl on it to work yourself through that gap. I'm definitely not going to be a fan of laying it up. If I was going to lay it up, I would take this shot over here and just hit it straight forward so that I could at least give myself a shot of bleeding up towards the green way up front. And you could do that with a marlin or any ball. And you're going to be clear of the trees. But I'm definitely not going to be a fan of laying up like that. I'm a big fan for trying to go for it on par fours. That's for damn sure. With a power four ball, I might just be able to get up there. Very little curl. Man, I don't think I'd have to put very much curl on it at all. That might actually be the shot. 5-1. Take the wind out. I'm going to try that. Because then I don't know if I have to put that much curl on it at all. Just enough to kind of walk myself around the tree. Isn't it perfect? And that might work. And actually, that might work with a power four ball. And I wouldn't have to waste a power five ball. But where you're out there in front of that tree, that might work. That might work really good. But if you don't have a power five ball and you've got to put overpower on it, I still think going around the trees completely and putting max curl on there might be a better way to go than in between. Because the deal there is that if you're going in between the trees and you're using a power three ball and you've got max overpower and you hit it great to the left or the right, you may end up clipping the tree. Whereas if you're going around it, you're going around those trees, you may have a better opportunity to you'll clear the trees and get caught up in the rough down below. Wind is definitely not going to be a factor here. Hedge my bet. Isn't it perfect? In the hole! Eagle. And as like hole number one, that is not the way I wanted to get the eagle, but I will take the eagle. All right, so I actually think that shot going through there with a bigger power ball will work. So let me go look at that hole again. So when we're on this hole with a power three ball, the look that you get with the power three was not nearly as good as what that look was as far as raw distance going in a forward direction. So with a power three ball, with a power five ball, my red line's out in this area right here, so I'm absolutely clear. But with a power three ball, where my red line was out, I pretty much had to put overpower on it just to get over to this. And so, because if you're going through here and you've got a power three ball and you've got to put a little teeny bit of curl on it, and you hit anything great to the left or the right, you're gonna tag one of these trees. Whereas if you're pointing towards this and you're putting on max overpower and you're doing this trajectory going through, you have a lot more. I mean, I hit a three rings to the right and was still able to clear that tree. So if you're using a power three ball and you're having to do max overpower, I think as far as like trying to get forward distance, you may end up in the rough down here. But the deal is you're better off in the rough down here than clipping these trees and ending up in this area. So if you're having to use a power three ball and max overpower, it might be better to try and go around the trees because you've got a better chance of at least getting clear of them if you don't hit perfect. But if you've got a power four or a power five ball and you don't have to do any overpower, I think hitting through the trees is definitely going to be better because you're going to be on that track and you don't have to put as much movement on the ball. Where I was at with the power five, I could probably take off a little bit of that top spin, or I could leave all that top spin on and I could switch to a power 4 ball and try and just get me to the front of the green. And I think that's probably the way I'm going to go on that hole. So I'm going to make a note here. I'm going to do an extra mile, and I'm going to do a power 4 ball, and I'm going to put in between trees. And we'll try that out and see what kind of distance we can get with a power 4 ball. Because if I can save any power 5 balls, there's this course is going to eat through some of your power inventory. And don't blame me. Hey, this is how Playdemic. If I was Playdemic, I would have designed these courses the same way. They're a ball manufacturer. They want you to have to use those balls. They don't want you to buy them and then keep them forever. They want you to be able to. They want to force you to use them. All right, that was hole number 5. I think we definitely got a shot of getting a serious eagle on that hole. All right, hole number 5 of the Redwood Cup and Monday's qualifying practice round of the rookie division. Thanks for watching.